Good evening. Welcome to Loveworld USA News. I'm TGK Andre. First, let's take a quick look at the top stories this evening. President Trump to decide on Iran response within 2 weeks amid rising tensions. The Trump administration restricts congressional access to immigration centers. Federal agents disperse protesters at Portland ICE facility. 16 billion login credentials exposed in major global data breach. And SpaceX Starship explodes during routine test at Texas facility. And now to the news. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt has announced that President Donald Trump will decide within the next 2 weeks whether the United States will directly enter the ongoing conflict between Israel and Iran. The decision follows multiple rounds of direct and indirect talks with Tehran, which Leavitt has said yet to produce results. Citing a message from the president, Leavitt stated that Trump is weighing the possibility of negotiations before taking any action. She added that Iran ignored a previous 60-day warning period, after which Israel launched strikes against Iranian targets. Trump has reiterated that he will not allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon, noting the regime is weeks away from completing one if the supreme leader authorizes it. Meanwhile, Iran launched a ballistic missile that struck Soroka Hospital in southern Israel on Thursday, injuring over 70 people. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the strike a war crime and vowed retaliation. Iran's attack followed Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities and the killing of several high-ranking military officials. Amid the escalation, mystery cargo flights from China to Iran have raised concerns about foreign involvement. Israel's military reported it had intercepted hundreds of drones launched from Iranian territory, claiming over 95% of airborne threats have been neutralized. The U.S. Navy has ordered the USS Gerald R. Ford to deploy to Europe, joining 2 other carrier groups as the region braces for further deployments. Watch this.
The ongoing situation in Iran. I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today.
The Department of Homeland Security has implemented new guidelines restricting congressional visits to immigration enforcement field offices, citing operational concerns. The directive, issued this month, grants U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement sole authority to deny or cancel visits by members of Congress to its facilities. Under federal law, members of Congress may enter detention centers without prior notice. However, the DHS guidelines assert that this provision does not apply to ICE field offices, which often temporarily detain immigrants. ICE is now requesting a 72-hour notice for congressional visits to these field offices and reserves the right to terminate visits for any reason. President Donald Trump's administration has intensified immigration enforcement since returning to office in January. The president has pledged to deport large numbers of unauthorized immigrants and has taken steps to remove international students with pro-Palestinian views. The DHS guidelines state that while efforts will be made to accommodate lawmakers, ICE's authority over access is final and unreviewable. Recent enforcement actions include the prosecution of Representative LaMonica McIver following a confrontation during an attempted oversight visit, and the arrest of other Democratic officials at ICE facilities, including New York Mayor Ross Baraka and New York City Comptroller Brad Lander. Federal agents deployed non-lethal munitions on Wednesday night to disperse a crowd gathered outside an Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Portland. The protesters reportedly attempted to block the facility's entrances, prompting a response that included tear gas, rubber bullets, and flashbang devices. The protest escalated after participants rolled a dumpster in front of the Macadam Avenue ICE building. Despite multiple warnings to vacate, the group remained at the scene. Officers in riot gear moved in to clear the entrance and allow government vehicles to exit, according to the Department of Homeland Security. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin stated that 5 individuals were arrested and cited for various offenses, including assault on federal law enforcement. McLaughlin noted that federal agents have seen a reported 413% increase in assaults. ICE and our federal law enforcement partners will continue to enforce the law, she said. The Portland Police Bureau confirmed 2 additional arrests. One individual was cited for directing a laser pointer at officers, while another was arrested for criminal trespass after reportedly carrying a shield and ignoring dispersal orders. The Bureau emphasized that it does not participate in immigration enforcement and was present solely to maintain public safety. Watch this.
So protesters were blocking the front of that ICE facility, and now they're, as you can see, pushing a dumpster into the front of the ICE facility where protesters were just hit with flashbangs and pepper balls, perhaps rubber bullets from ICE agents. They're ICE agents on the top of the McAdam Avenue ICE facility here. Protesters are pushing things. They're throwing fireworks, and federal agents are meeting them back with flashbangs of their own. Now, tensions are certainly escalating here tonight. A lot of activity, but
the news will be back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
To celebrate our victories and all the amazing things that the Lord's done with us.
Researchers have confirmed what is now believed to be the largest password leak in history, involving 16 billion login credentials tied to major platforms, including Apple, Facebook, Google, GitHub, and Telegram. According to cybersecurity investigators at Cyber News, the breach includes fresh data not previously reported and is believed to be the result of multiple info-stealer attacks. The exposed datasets, some containing more than 3.5 billion records each, were reportedly compiled from a broad range of services, including VPNs, developer platforms, and social media sites. Most of the leaked data includes structured login information in the form of URLs, usernames, and passwords. Experts warn that the scale of this breach could lead to widespread phishing attempts and unauthorized account access. Cybersecurity firms are advising both individual users and organizations to take immediate precautions. Darren Guccione, CEO of Keeper Security, emphasized the need for strong password management and dark web monitoring tools to detect and respond to compromised credentials. Guccione noted that misconfigured cloud environments remain a major risk for future leaks. The leak highlights the growing threat of data exposure and the importance of adopting protective measures such as multi-factor authentication, zero trust access policies, and secure credential management. Law enforcement agencies have not commented yet on any investigation into the source of the breach. Let's take a look.
Which analyze about 30 newly surfaced data sets. Each database contains about 16 million to about 3.5 billion records, with most averaging about 550 million entries. Notably, only one of these data sets, 184 million credential leak, had been previously reported, and the rest are believed to be fresh and highly exploitable. Now, these data sets include not just passwords, but also cookies, tokens, and metadata, making them especially dangerous for users and organizations relying on weak authentication methods. The leaked data reportedly came from unsecured Elasticsearch and object storage instances likely operated or compromised by cyber criminals. Now, cybersecurity experts have linked the breach to multiple info stealers, malware designed to extract sensitive data from infected devices. And the stolen credentials offer access to nearly every kind of online service imaginable, from social media accounts and developer portals to government services. The biggest concern, of course, lies with crypto users. Many custodial wallets and cloud-based seed phrase backups are tied to email credentials, making them vulnerable to account takeovers and potential asset loss. Now, experts are warning that this breach could lead to a surge in phishing, account hijacking, and identity theft, especially in sectors like crypto, finance, and cloud-based services. The FBI and Google are now urging users to replace their traditional passwords with passkeys and to immediately enable two-factor authentication. Organizations are advised to audit their access protocols, revoke compromised credentials, and also inform users of potential risk. As researchers put it, this isn't just a breach, it's a blueprint for global cyber exploitation.
A SpaceX Starship prototype exploded during a late-night static fire test at the company's Starbase facility on Wednesday, resulting in a massive fireball that was visible from miles and shook nearby homes. The incident occurred around 11 p.m. as crews prepared Ship 36 for its 10th flight test. According to SpaceX, the explosion was caused by a major anomaly while the rocket was stationed on the test stand. A live stream captured the explosion, which appeared to originate near the upper portion of the vehicle. SpaceX confirmed that all staff were safe and no injuries were reported, with a pre-established safety zone in place. Residents in surrounding areas, including Brownsville, reported feeling the blast from their homes. "It shook all the houses," said Areli Cantu, a local resident. Another witness, Juan Martinez, described hearing a huge boom while observing the test from a nearby beach. This latest incident adds to a series of failed Starship tests. In May, Ship 35 burned up on re-entry after launch, and previous tests in March and January ended in explosions due to engine failures and propellant leaks. SpaceX has not released a full statement, and company founder Elon Musk has not commented publicly on the test failure. Watch this.
The fire was seen for miles. Cell phone video from Brownsville, which is about 20 miles away, shows the fireball in the sky. SpaceX says the Starship experienced a, quote, major anomaly. After the explosion, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk had a three-word response, simply saying, "just a scratch." SpaceX was planning to launch the Starship at the end of the month in what would have been the rocket's 10th test flight. This Starship.
A Spanish court has upheld a government directive ordering Airbnb to block nearly 66,000 rental listings that officials say violate national housing regulations. The decision follows an appeal by Airbnb, which the Madrid High Court rejected on Thursday. The Consumer Rights Ministry initially flagged 65,935 listings last month, ordering the immediate removal of 5,800. According to the ministry, many listings lacked required license numbers or falsely claimed numbers not matching official records. The court's ruling reinforces the ministry's directive and allows enforcement to proceed. Consumer Rights Minister Pablo Bustinduy previously stated the government aims to protect citizens' constitutional rights, including access to housing. Economic Minister Carlos Cuerpo also said authorities must address the negative effects of mass tourism on housing availability. Airbnb has not issued a formal response to the court's decision. Spanish authorities continue to review short-term rental platforms for compliance with the national housing and consumer protection laws. The news continues after this break. Stay with us.
The life of a soldier is not just a job, it's a calling and a sacred tradition passed down from father to son, brother to sister, and one generation to the next. At every hour of danger, our noblest citizens have answered that call. Time and again, our enemies have learned that if you dare to threaten the American people, American soldier will chase you down, crush you, and cast you into oblivion. The last sound you ever hear will be the dueling howl of Black Hawks. Thunderous boom of artillery fire. Or the ferocious roar of a U.S. Army infantry brigade. For our adversaries, there's no greater fear than the United States Army. Now it's your duty to shield the flame of freedom that was first lit 250 years ago by the heroes of Concord Bridge and Bunker Hill. Standing before you today, I am more confident than ever that in the days ahead and every generation to come, the U.S. Army will heap glory upon glory. You will protect every inch of U.S. soil, and you will defend America to the end.
Welcome back. The United States has brokered a preliminary peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda, aimed at ending a long-running conflict over mineral-rich territory in eastern Congo. The deal, initiated by DRC President Felix Tshisekedi, is set to be formally signed on June 27th in Washington, with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio acting as witness. The agreement follows 3 days of talks in Washington and includes provisions for ending hostilities, disarming non-state armed groups, and establishing a regional economic framework. The Trump administration has described the deal as part of a broader strategy to promote U.S. investment in Africa and counter Chinese influence in the region's critical mineral supply chain. Despite optimism, analysts remain cautious. The M23 rebel group, widely believed to be backed by Rwanda and responsible for territorial seizures in eastern DRC, was not included in the talks. Intelligence reports indicate M23 has created parallel governing systems and controls areas containing valuable mineral reserves such as cobalt and coltan. Officials close to the negotiations say the U.S. is pursuing a dual-track approach, fostering stability while securing access to vital resources for high-tech manufacturing. U.S. officials have also discussed possible deportee agreements with Rwanda. Implementation of the peace deals remain uncertain, with success likely hinging on whether M23 forces stand down and regional tensions de-escalate. Watch this.
The deal is aimed at ending fighting in eastern Congo, where the UN says M23 rebels are being supported by thousands of Rwandan troops. The decades-long conflict escalated in January when rebels seized the strategic Congolese city of Goma.
Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra is facing mounting political pressure following the release of a phone call between her and Cambodia's former Prime Minister Hun Sen. The recording, posted in full by Hun Sen on Facebook, revealed a private discussion about lifting border restrictions after a deadly clash on May 28th, in which one Cambodian soldier was killed. Critics accused Paetongtarn of undermining national interest by referring to a Thai army commander as an opponent and appearing overtly deferential to Hun Sen. The backlash led to the Bachuma Thai party withdrawing from the ruling coalition, citing concerns over national sovereignty and military integrity. The loss of the coalition partner leaves Paetongtarn's government with 255 seats in the 500-member House, narrowly maintaining a majority. Opposition leaders and nationalist protesters have called for her resignation, with some lawmakers preparing impeachment motions. The foreign minister issued a formal protest to Cambodia, calling the leak a violation of diplomatic norms. Paetongtarn defended her comments as part of a negotiation strategy and stated she would no longer hold private discussions with Hun Sen. She accused the former Cambodian leader of prioritizing domestic popularity over international relations. The dispute has renewed scrutiny of Paetongtarn's political ties to her father, Thaksin Shinawatra, who was previously appointed as government advisor by Hun Sen before resigning amid political controversy. Amid the fallout, concerns have surfaced about the possibility of military intervention. The Royal Thai Army issued a statement affirming its loyalty to the constitutional monarchy and its role in safeguarding national sovereignty. Thailand has experienced military coups in 2006 and 2014, both of which removed members of the Shinawatra family from power. Let's take a look.
Has her telling Hun Sen that she's under domestic pressure, urging him not to listen to, quote, the opposite side, referring to a senior Thai military commander involved in an ongoing border standoff with Cambodia. The fallout has been swift. Her main coalition partner, the conservative Bum Chai Thai party, has pulled out of her government. That exit leaves Ms. Paetongtarn with a weakened majority in parliament and facing mounting calls to resign.
Just before we end the news, let's take a quick look at tomorrow's weather forecast. And to end the news today, a quick recap of the headlines. President Trump to decide on Iran response within 2 weeks amid rising tensions. The Trump administration restricts congressional access to immigration centers. Federal agents disperse protesters at Portland ICE facility. 18 billion login credentials exposed in major global data breach. And SpaceX Starship explodes during routine test at Texas facility. And that's the news for today. Join us at the same time tomorrow for more news. I'm TTK Andre. Good night and God bless you.